And let's start with this. Former SAA board chairperson Dudu Myeni filing papers in the South Gauteng High Court today, suing the organisation undoing tax abuse for 8 million rand. Myeni says OUTA published a tweet on the 3rd of October this year, which read, and I quote, "a reminder of the damage Dudu Myeni caused at SAA." She also sat on several other boards, including the Matludzi Water Board. Now, imagine the damage done there. OUTA is the only civil action organisation holding her accountable. That's the tweet. Well, Myeni's lawyers have ordered OUTA to delete the statement from their Twitter accounts and all other platforms. Working that story for us tonight, Heidi Jokos, good evening to you. And she's furious, isn't she?
She's extremely furious, and this is obviously a comeback on her side. Basically, she's saying that OUTA tweeted something on the 3rd of October. It's false and defamatory, and she's also suing OUTA for 8 million rand. One must understand that this case has been going on since 2017. It's finally in the courts. It started in about mid-October. Today, 2 of her applications have been dismissed. So at the back of that, she has now filed papers in the South Gauteng High Court to sue OUTA for 8 million rand, and obviously asking for an apology from OUTA about that specific tweet. However, OUTA has told us that they have not been served with the papers as yet. So it appears as though Dudu Myeni and her legal team have just filed the papers in the South Gauteng High Court, but they haven't served it on OUTA as yet. OUTA says they'll let us know as soon as they've received those papers.
One imagines, of course, this is part of a broader strategy as far as Myeni is concerned. She is under an inordinate amount of pressure, isn't she?
Most definitely, given the fact that OUTA wants her declared as a delinquent director. Dudu Myeni's legal team was pushing today to have her, not be the only one included in this delinquency case brought forward by OUTA. That application was dismissed. She also wanted amendments to her plea. She claimed that she was misled by her previous legal team, saying that they did not speak to her about legal ramifications, and she wants to amend certain pleas. She wants to change certain admissions, and the court did not rule in her favour. So she's suffered 2 legal blows today, and of course she's come back now and said, well, I'm suing OUTA for that tweet, and I want 8 million rand on top of that.
Fascinating, but in many ways a sideshow. The bigger story here is the continuing problems as far as the national carrier is concerned. We heard at the weekend about this so-called radical intervention that is now going to be implemented, but the reality is SAA is still looking for money. They're
still looking for money, Jeremy, and the big thing here is that when Public Enterprises Minister released that statement yesterday, they said that there's going to be radical restructuring. Now, the big question is, does that include the retrenchments that was put on the table? Remember, the unions and the airline agreed about a week and a half ago that they're going to suspend those retrenchments. Now the Public Enterprises Minister, Pravin Gordhan, comes out and says there's going to be radical restructuring. So the big question is, what does that radical restructuring mean, and is it going to bring in any money? Is it going to be a positive sign for lenders to say, okay, there is some kind of plan or strategy for the airline, and we could possibly be bringing in that money that they so desperately need?
And while we're talking about this, of course, the Minister also asking South Africans to support SAA, saying that it's important that we have a responsibility to keep it in the skies in many ways. That is not necessarily going to be greeted with a great deal of joy by people who have been let down by the carrier.
Most definitely, and when we covered the SAA strike extensively, a number of passengers were left, stranded at the airport, were unaware of what exactly was going on. And, the statement that was released yesterday basically saying we are going to go on an extensive marketing campaign to ensure that people know that they can rely on the airline despite all the trouble they've been seeing. When I tweeted that statement, many people were saying they've actually cancelled their tickets with the airline because they're worried about the uncertainty. They're worried that perhaps something will happen at a later stage and they'll be left stranded once again. So, of course, the department is pushing for them to, for people to book with SAA, but the big question is, how are they going to survive, given the fact that they need about 2 billion rand working capital?
Heidi Jokos, thank you very much.